Hi there. I am getting ready to have a coaching call with one of my groups of ladies where we're going to talk a little bit quantum today. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to introduce a book that I did not write. It's called The Quantum Revelation by Paul Levy. He wrote it in 2018. I got it in 2019. I listen to it on Audible at least twice a year, and I read the full book at least twice a year. Why? First of all, Paul Levy is not any kind of coach or teacher. He's a journalist, a researcher. But even before I read this book, I used to get all the same information from scientific journals and different, all sorts of different books and, being very science-based. But what he has done is he's taken it from all over, just pure science, and this is how you create in the quantum reality. He doesn't do that stuff. That's not the point of it. The point is he's giving us the foundation so then we can run with it. So I just want to say that for starters, because what I'm talking about may seem odd, especially if you're not used to hearing about the quantum field, or you're not used to hearing about 5D reality, or you're not used to hearing about superconscious. So I'm going to break it down, but I wanted to start with that preface so that you are absolutely free to read that book and do your own research and realize that these things that I teach, and I'm sure there's a lot of other teachers teaching it. I know 𝒍𝒊𝒆𝒏𝒂𝒂 does as well. But this is all based on science. And it's really, really important, I think, in my experience, it's really important that we understand that this is all science, because it's only through that understanding that our skeptical mind can go, oh, what if that's real? Because our skeptical mind, our ego mind, does not want us to think it's real. Because if it's real, then, well, let me just go into it and tell you why this is so important. The reality that you are in right now, looking around you, is 0.1301%. Particle is 0.1% of reality. And we know this is a fact. We know that our vision is only this much on a spectrum that's this big. We know that our audio, our hearing, is this big on a spectrum that's that big. Everything. We know this. This is a fact. In the quantum field, which is considered the fifth dimensions, if you're religious, you may call it nirvana or heaven, but it's outside of planet Earth. Let's say that. And that it's not even accurate to say outside of planet Earth, because it's multidimensional. So it's not like, oh, here's a line 50 feet above the Earth, and now this is the quantum field. That's how our linear minds want to think, but that's not what it is. It's here right now. It's all here right now. So the third dimension is our physical reality, and it's a teeny fraction of what's real. But because we are in physical bodies, and we have 5 senses that allow us to operate and function in the world, and we have 5% of our brain is conscious, so we have goals and ideas and challenges and plans, and we have an energy body that holds past and trauma and whatnot. So the energy of our emotions, which is magnetic, and the electricity of our brain, which is electric, creates the electromagnetic field. Now, in quantum physics, what we know is that the quantum field is a field of electromagnetism, just like the field of our body. That's not a coincidence, all right? In the quantum field, it is 99.9% empty space. But that empty space is not empty space. That empty space is energy, electromagnetic energy. In the Eastern cultures, they call it chi or prana. It's the energy. And Einstein told us years ago, energy informs matter. The energy was here before your body. Now you have inside your body 7 billion atoms. And what I just said about 0.1% and 99.9999%, that applies to your atoms. I want to be really clear. whether we're talking about the quantum field or your atoms of your body, it doesn't matter because it's all the same. Do you get that? All the atoms that make you are 99.9% empty space. Now think about that. All right. So I talk about the 3D, I talk about the 5D. What is the 4D? The 4D, according to science, is the dimension of time and space. When we're here, we're like, okay, time to get up. Okay, time to take a nap. Okay, time to go to bed. We have time. In the quantum realm, there is no time and space. And if you've heard, there's a lot more teachers these days, you know, and spiritual teachers and manifestation teachers talking about this idea that everything we want is here right now. And it is. And that's where it gets into the dimensions. Because the fifth dimension is here right now. But because I'm so plugged in to the third dimension of time and space and what I taste and see and feel and hear and touch and experience, this is what's real. And I'm literally, when I stay mired in this, I'm literally blocking out 99.9%, 9999, of the energy of the universe, of the matrix, of the quantum field. And a lot of people are like, well, okay, who cares? Because if it's just nothing, why do I even care? And that's where people make the mistake. That nothingness is just sitting there waiting to become somethingness. And we have been gifted, I'm telling you, we have been gifted as human beings with the tools to give instruction and turn that energy into matter, to collapse waves into particles. And if that's true and it's that easy, then why isn't everyone walking around being billionaires? And I'm not going to get into, you know, because I don't really dive deeply into soul agreements and soul contracts. Why? Because I don't know. I'm not an expert at that and science can't prove it. I have my ideas and what I believe, but this isn't what that's about. What I know to be true, and science vets it out, is that when we have the ability, the capacity, the willingness to go into the quantum field, cross the fourth dimension in our minds, that we can instruct using our thought and emotion. We can, you know, our imagination. When I say thought, our imagination, we can use those tools to collapse waves and create possibilities that right now, sitting here, we're like, there's no way that could happen. How could that happen? But the big thing, and this is the thing that, you know, we've been trying, not we, but people, teachers that teach from science, have been trying to get people to understand for a long time. But you know what? Jesus was trying to get the same thing across. You know, love and gratitude. The kingdom of heaven is within. And I believe with every fiber of my being, what Jesus meant by that was when you go within, you have the entire universe. It's like, you know, they say that a drop of the ocean is a hologram of the ocean. It has the entire ocean in its contents. I believe that we are, and a lot of more fringe scientists agree with this, but I'm not going to say it's mainstream because it's not. A lot of quantum physics isn't mainstream. This book I recommended, mainstream, but it just begs the question, well, then of course manifestation works. Anyway, when we can cross the fourth dimension of time and space and get into that not being a body, not having time, we have to disconnect. We have to unplug from the third dimension. We have to unplug. And why do people say it's so hard? Because we are so addicted to our emotions. We are so addicted to our ego needs to know what's going on. Because the unknown is scary. It's like, it reminds me of going through those haunted houses. You know, when you're a kid and you pay $5 or $1 to go in a haunted house. I couldn't do it. I mean, I think I did it once or twice, but when you do it and just anything could jump out and go boo, that is how a lot of people feel about stepping into the fourth dimension to create the fifth dimension reality. It's a bridge you have to cross. It's a bridge you have to cross. And in order to cross that bridge, you have to become one with all that energy. And the only way you can do that is to unplug from all of this. And so the way that you do it is you learn to be, and you know what, I'm going to tell you, I could never have done the things I've done if I just had to rely on myself, because the minute I would get into a relaxed state, I would fall asleep. So it's taken years to understand and to work with and to operate within the quantum field. But the way that you do it is listen to certain sounds and listen to guidance. And I'm not talking about just guided meditation, which can be good. I haven't explored all the guided meditations out there. There used to just be a few good ones, and now I'm sure there are more. But the kind that I use, that I teach, that I have not started selling, but I probably should, and I give some of it away, by the way, is to keep you in that state. And I can say, as being a hypnotherapist for a long time, it's very similar to hypnotherapy in that I want to get your body and your brain really relaxed, but then I want to keep you alert, and I want to have you feel that there's nothing except for your consciousness floating. There's nothing but that. And then from there, we bring up the image of what you'd like to create. But you have to cross that bridge of being so relaxed and so disconnected. You can't go into that space of the quantum field worrying about your kids or thinking, how am I going to pay my bills, or fussing about not enough clients. You have to go into that space, and in that space, be completely relaxed and know that you're totally okay. And then you create. So it's unplug, relax, plug in. And when you do that, and you do it consistently, and after a while, when you come out of it and you don't fall asleep, when you come out of it, you start to be more connected with your superconscious. You start to see more possibilities. You start to see serendipitous things happen in your life. You start to experience little bits and pieces of infinite potential. And what that does is it cements in the idea that I've got to do this practice every day, because when I do it every day, I get more and more surprises. And then there comes a day when the x-rays come back and the cancer is gone. Or the person shows up at Starbucks who you've been looking for your whole life. Or the clients just find you out of the blue. That is what's possible. And so when my clients or even my readers say to me, oh, it's just so hard. It's just so hard. It's so hard. Oh, God, closing my eyes. I can't take an hour. You can take an hour and you can scroll on social media and you can look at TikTok videos and reels and you can watch Netflix and you can stand in line in Starbucks or Dutch Brothers. You can take an hour to create a new reality. And so the real question is, when people say it's too hard, is what's harder? Unplugging is harder for most people. But that's because I feel 100% certain they're not understanding the science, the evidence, the proof that you can go from not having what you want to having everything you want. But you have to enter that field. It's like you can order anything you want from Amazon. Let's just say, hypothetically, if you wanted to order something from Amazon, you can do anything you want. But if you don't connect to the Wi-Fi, if you're not connected, you're not going to get through to Amazon. So I want you to think of the Wi-Fi as the fourth dimension. And you've got to connect. You've got to first unplug, and then you've got to connect, and then you've got to create. Unplug, plug in, create. Okay? So hopefully that has been helpful. over time, you are going to see different and new links underneath this for different things that I'm recommending and products that I'm selling and books that I have. So I hope you take a look down below, and I would love to talk to you. If you're interested in some one-on-one mentoring, let me know. Let's set up a time to chat. Okay, have a great day. Thanks.